The sun rose heavy over Warri, already burning by mid-morning. Heat clung to the zinc rooftops, turning them into mirrors that reflected angry light onto the streets. The smell of dust, exhaust fumes, and fried akara mixed in the air, the usual perfume of the city. Children ran barefoot through puddles left by the early morning rain, shouting and laughing. Street hawkers pushed their carts, calling out everything from roasted plantains to cold soft drinks, their voices blending into a constant hum of the city's pulse. On a narrow road near Airport Junction, Jessica balanced a tray of golden brown meat pies on her head. At 24, her face still carried the softness of youth, but her eyes, sharp, tired, watchful, belonged to someone who had learned struggle too early. Beads of sweat rolled down her temples, clinging to the loose edges of her braids. She wore a plain blouse tucked into a faded black skirt that hugged her slim frame, the hem brushing her knees. Her slippers were cracked, flapping slightly as she walked, but she carried herself with quiet confidence. Fine meat pie. Hot meat pie. Not just 50 naira, she called out, her voice steady despite the heat. People passed without looking. Some glanced, smiled politely, but kept walking. A young boy tugged at her skirt, pointing at the pies, and she bent slightly to offer him one. No small gift for you, make you no go hungry. He ran off laughing, the pie held tight in his hands. Jessica adjusted the tray carefully, the weight pressing on her neck. Across the road, Tega fought with his Keke. He was 27, tall and wiry, with a strength carved from years of manual work. His once bright polo shirt was faded, sweat stains spreading under his arms. He bent over, kicking the stubborn tire that had gone flat again, his face twisted in frustration. Passengers sat inside the white and blue tricycle, fanning themselves with handkerchiefs and muttering complaints. Not every day this driver dey delay person, one woman hissed loudly. Tega ignored them, crouching low to check the tire valve, cursing under his breath. A neighbor leaned over from his compound wall, snickering. Oga, see as your Keke dey act stubborn. No so e dey every morning. That was when Jessica's voice cut through. Brothers, e be like say not every day this your Keke dey misbehave. Tega's head jerked up. He squinted against the sunlight, spotting her across the road. A slim girl with a tree balanced gracefully, her voice bowed despite the sweat glistening on her face. Her tone wasn't mocking, it carried a teasing warmth. A grin broke through his irritation. You no go buy meat pie before you dey laugh my hustle, he shot back. Jessica raised her chin playfully. If I buy, no free ride I go collect later. For a moment, the noisy street seemed to fade. The passengers shifted impatiently, but Tega leaned against his Keke, watching her. Something about her confidence, the way she spoke like they were equals in suffering, made his chest feel lighter. What's your name? He called across the road. She adjusted her tray slightly before answering. Jessica. And you? Tega, he replied, straightening up, wiping his brow with the back of his hand. And make I no lie, your voice sweet past your meat pie advert. Jessica fought the smile creeping to her lips, but it won. She plucked a meat pie from the tray, walked closer, and dropped it into his hand before he could protest. No credit, she said, her voice brisk. Pay me when you make money. She turned and crossed the street, her skirt swaying lightly as her slippers slapped the hot ground. Tega stared at the meat pie in his palm, then at her retreating figure, weaving through the crowd with the balance of someone used to carrying weight. He bit into the snack absent-mindedly, still smiling. For a few seconds, the broken tire, the grumbling passengers, and the shame of being 27 with nothing to show, all of it vanished. That evening, the streetlights flickered weakly as Jessica made her way home from the bar. The air was heavy with the smell of roasted corn and smoke. She spotted Tega leaning against his white and blue Keke at the junction, arms folded, looking less worn out than he had in the morning. Jessica, he called, waving. Your meat pie saved my life today. I even carry one customer wey dash me extra 100. She laughed, shaking her head as she walked closer. So where my money? Tega scratched his head, smiling mischievously. Make we call investment. One day I go pay you with interest. Jessica rolled her eyes, but the corners of her mouth betrayed her. As she continued down the road, she realized her heart felt lighter than it had in weeks. The days after their first meeting blurred into something familiar. Tega found himself scanning the streets for Jessica's figure, slim, confident, balancing her tray like a crown. And almost always, she appeared. Sometimes it was morning, sometimes late afternoon, but their paths crossed often enough that the meetings no longer felt like chance. One afternoon, as Tega was struggling to push his Keke uphill, Jessica appeared at the roadside. She ran toward him, laughing. You dey try carry this Keke past Olympics, she teased. She grabbed a bottle of cold water from her tray, handing it to him. Tega drank greedily, the sun baking their faces. Thanks, Jessica, he said, smiling. No better pit stop you be. One evening, the Warri sky had turned a bruised purple, the kind that warned of heavy rain. Jessica's tray was empty, and she lingered at a junction, adjusting the knot of her headscarf. She spotted Tega's white and blue Keke rolling slowly toward her. He leaned out of the driver's seat, grinning. Enter, fine meat pie seller. Free ride today, he called. Jessica laughed, shaking her head. No you dey owe me oh. You never pay for that first meat pie. No so investors they behave, he said, tapping the passenger seat. Their money they tied up for future profit. She rolled her eyes but climbed in. The Keke rattled as it moved, the engine coughing like an old man with catarrh. Jessica held the metal bar lightly, her skirt brushing against the seat. The city lights blinked weakly, shops closing for the night, children running barefoot through puddles. Your Keke need deliverance, she teased. Leave Tega replied. One day I go by motor. You go see me cruise past like big boy. And you go forget me, she asked quickly, half joking, half serious. He glanced at her, his smile softening. Jessica, no people like you I go carry along. Who else believe in person when him still dey push Keke? Her chest warmed at his words, but she looked away, pretending to study the blur of streetlights. The first time Jessica visited Tega's room, it was almost by accident. Rain had poured suddenly, drumming hard on zinc roofs, turning streets into muddy streams. Jessica had nowhere else to run when the downpour caught her, so Tega led her quickly to the one-room apartment he rented behind a carpenter's workshop. The room was small, just a mattress on the floor, a fan that squeaked whenever I turned, and a wooden chair pushed into the corner. A single bulb hung overhead, buzzing faintly. The air smelled faintly of engine oil from the workshop, mixed with Tega's bar soap. Jessica set her wet tray down by the door and sighed, wringing the hem of her skirt. So this is where Warri's future millionaire they hide, she teased. Tega scratched his head, suddenly self-conscious. He no fine rich, but at least rain no they beat me inside here. She laughed softly and sat on the chair. Something about her presence changed the air in the room. She looked around with interest, touching the small radio on the floor, the jotter lying by the mattress, pages filled with Tega's rough handwriting. You dey write plans? She asked, flipping a page. He nodded. Business ideas, things I won't do if I get money. Sometimes I dey laugh myself, but one day. Jessica studied him, her heart tugging. Here was a man who carried hope like a torch, even when the wind tried to put it out. That night, when the rain finally stopped, she didn't rush to leave. They sat side by side on the mattress, eating roasted corn Tega had bought earlier. They laughed over silly things, the way his Keke coughed on heels, the way her boss at the bar liked to mispronounce English words. At one point, their laughter faded into a silence that wasn't uncomfortable. Jessica leaned back, her head brushing the wall. Tega, sometimes I feel like life no go better. Like we go dey hustle till old age. He looked at her, his eyes steady. No, Jessica. Life go better. Maybe it go take time, but we go rise. Together. She met his gaze, and something unspoken passed between them. It wasn't love yet, not fully, but it was something close, a promise stitched in silence. Weeks passed. Jessica began to stop by more often, sometimes to drop food, sometimes just to sit and talk. Slowly, almost without realizing, she was moving in. One rainy afternoon, they shared a small umbrella outside, laughing as puddles splashed their shoes. Tega held her hand, warm and steady, as she told him about her dreams of one day opening a small boutique. One night, as they lay on the mattress listening to the whir of the squeaky fan, Jessica whispered, "Tega, you sure say we go make am?" His arm tightened around her shoulders. "We no get choice. We must." And in that tiny room, with nothing but dreams and determination, their love began to take root, two against the world, holding on to each other like lifelines. The morning sun slid through the torn curtain in Tega's room, painting soft gold patches on the wall. Jessica stirred first, the squeaky fan blowing strands of her braids across her face. She blinked awake, turning to see Tega still asleep, his arms stretched across the mattress like he was trying to protect her even in his dreams. She smiled. At 24, she had known more hardship than happiness, but waking up beside him felt like safety. She nudged him lightly. "Tega," she whispered. He groaned. "5 more minutes, I beg." Jessica chuckled, poking his ribs until he laughed and rolled over. Their laughter filled the small room, bouncing off the walls. For a moment, it didn't matter that the ceiling leaked when it rained or that the mattress sagged in the middle. It felt like home. They ate breakfast together, soaked Gary with groundnuts, sitting cross-legged on the floor. Tega dipped his spoon and said, "One day, I go change this Gary to cornflakes. With cold milk, imported one." Jessica raised her brows dramatically. "Imported? Oga, even Nasco cornflakes go do." They both burst into laughter. Outside, the street buzzed as usual, hawkers shouting, children running through mud puddles, and the Keke drivers honking at one another. But inside that small room, for a few precious hours, there was peace. Later that day, Tega insisted on taking Jessica on a ride through town in his white and blue Keke. She sat in the front, the wind tugging at her skirt as they weaved through traffic. People stared, not used to seeing a girl in the passenger seat chatting and laughing with the driver like she owned the space. "See as people they look us," Jessica teased. "Them no sabi say no millionaire and him babe they cruise." Tega glanced at her with a grin. "Them no fit understand." For a while, they forgot their troubles, lost in each other's company. They stopped by a small roadside vendor, sharing roasted plantain and cold zobo, laughing at how the vendor tried to give them more than they paid for. But life, as always, had its way of reminding them. One evening, Jessica returned from her bad job looking drained. She dropped her bag on the mattress and sank down beside Tega. "Today no easy," she muttered. "What happened?" he asked, concern clouding his eyes. She sighed. "Customer they insult me, say I dey waste my youth for peanuts. Even my oga they shout like say no me cause business slow." She paused, biting her lip. "Sometimes I just dey wonder, Tega, how long we go dey like this?" Tega leaned back against the wall, rubbing his face. His own day had been rough, his Keke had broken down twice, and he had borrowed money from another driver just to fix the carburetor. His pockets were nearly empty. Instead of answering, he reached for her hand. "Jessica, I swear, things go change. I dey find other runs. Maybe small transport contract," or, his voice trailed off, unsure. Jessica squeezed his hand but didn't meet his eyes. Her silence spoke louder than words. Days later, the strain showed more clearly. Jessica had gradually moved most of her things into Tega's room, but with 2 people, the space felt tighter. Clothes hung on nails along the wall. The fan squeaked louder under constant use. Money disappeared as quickly as it came. One night, as they ate bread and beans by candlelight, Jessica blurted out, "Tega, don't you think we for try find better job? Something different. I fit apply for shop girl work, maybe in boutique." Tega's jaw tightened. "Jessica, you dey shame of me? Because I dey drive Keke." Her eyes widened. "No be so I talk o. I just dey reason say maybe we forget steady salary, small stability. This your Keke dey break down every 2 days." His pride stung. He set his spoon down. "No, this Keke dey feed us. If you know they appreciate then maybe." He stopped himself, breathing heavily. Silence stretched between them, the candle flickering against their tense faces. Finally, Jessica reached for his arm. "Tega, now you I choose. No be Keke or boutique. But sometimes, pressure too much." His shoulders dropped. Slowly, he covered her hand with his. "I know. And I go fight harder. For you, for us." The next day, Tega tried. He left earlier than usual, driving longer hours, chasing every passenger he could find. Jessica noticed the effort. Sometimes she packed rice and stew from home, surprising him at a junction during his short breaks. They ate together in the Keke, laughing in spite of exhaustion. One afternoon, as rain clouds gathered, Jessica leaned her head on his shoulder while he parked by the roadside. "Tega," she murmured, "if this is all we ever have, I go still stay." He kissed her forehead softly. "But this no go be all. I promise." Still, promises couldn't stop reality from creeping in. Jessica's family began asking questions. Her mother scolded her during one visit, "So na Keke driver you won't follow? Jessica, shine your eyes oh. Love no dey feel bell." Her younger sister mocked quietly, whispering about wasting beauty on sufferhead love. Jessica defended Tega fiercely, but the words burrowed into her heart. At night, when the fan squeaked and their Gary soaked too thin, doubts flickered in her mind. Meanwhile, Tega's own struggles multiplied. He owed his mechanic. He owed fellow drivers who had helped him patch things up. Each debt was a stone on his chest. But whenever Jessica looked at him with faith in her eyes, he pushed himself to believe too. One night, after a long day, they lay side by side on the mattress. The air was hot, the fan barely working. Jessica turned to him, whispering, "Even if he had, at least we did together." Tega wrapped his arm around her and whispered back, "Together." Their love was simple, fragile, yet stubborn. In a city that crushed dreams, they clung to each other like 2 small flames refusing to be put out. The morning began like any other. Jessica swept the small compound outside Tega's room, humming softly as the broom scraped against the dusty ground. Inside, Tega was bent over his jotter, scribbling new ideas: transport business, small poultry farm, maybe even a vulcanizing shop. His handwriting was rough, the letters slanting, but each word carried hope. "Jessica," he called, "what if I save enough by second Keke? I fit give one boy make he dey drive am. Double income." Jessica leaned on the doorway, smiling faintly. "Tega, you dey always dream big. But where the money to buy second Keke?" He looked up at her, eyes shining despite her tone. "No small. I go find way." She forced a smile. She loved his spirit, but sometimes his dreams felt like air, sweet to hear, impossible to touch. That afternoon, Jessica stopped by her mother's shop in Egbudu Market. The air was thick with the smell of smoked fish, pepper, and dust. Her mother sat on a low stool, slicing okra, her wrapper tied tightly across her chest. "Jessica," Mama began without looking up, "now which work you dey do now SCF?" People they tell me say you they follow one Keke driver. Not true. Jessica stiffened. Mama, Tega no be just Keke driver. He get plans. Mama dropped the knife sharply. Plans? No plans you go chop. Girl, see your mates, some don't marry, some they abroad, some they work for office. You they here they so Gary with Keke driver. You won't suffer like me. Jessica's throat tightened. She muttered, Mama, I love him. Her mother's eyes softened for a moment, then hardened again. Love no they pay rent. Shine your eyes, Jessica. Man we no get today fit never get tomorrow. Jessica walked away from the shop heavy-hearted. Her mother's words clung to her skin like sweat. At the bar that evening, the pressure continued. Jessica's boss, a stocky man with a shiny bald head, leaned against the counter as she arranged bottles. Jessica, he said, lowering his voice, you too fine today waste your time with that small boy. Men way fit change your life they come here every day. See Chief Osahon way they always ask of you. You fit just smile small, your life go soft. She frowned. Oga, I beg, I know they interested. He chuckled, shaking his head. No be interest matter. No survivor. You think say beauty they last forever? Use 'em while you get 'em. His words echoed in her mind even after she closed her shift. The next week, the strain between her and Tega grew sharper. One night, as they shared EBA and watery okra soup by candlelight, she snapped. Tega, I tire. Every day not the same struggle. Gary today, bread tomorrow. Sometimes I dey wonder if we dey fool ourselves. Tega dropped his spoon, his face darkening. Jessica, why you dey talk like this? You know they believe in me again. Tears filled her eyes. I believe, Tega, but belief no dey fill stomach. Sometimes I just want small comfort. Just small. His pride flared. So you dey talk say if another man give you that comfort, you go leave me? She couldn't answer. The silence was louder than words. Tega had been restless all evening. The way Jessica avoided his eyes days before, the hesitation in her voice, it kept replaying in his mind. Something wasn't right. He decided to pass by the bar where she worked, maybe to see her, maybe to clear his doubts. He parked his Keke outside, wiped the sweat off his brow, and pushed the wooden door open. What he saw knocked the wind out of him. Jessica sat in a corner booth, not in her work clothes, but in a fitted blouse and wrapper, laughing softly. Beside her was Osahon, the big-bellied man everyone in the area knew, with his flashy shirt unbuttoned halfway down his chest, gold wristwatch gleaming under the dim bar light. His arm rested casually around her shoulders, his lips close to her ear as he whispered something that made her giggle. For a moment, Tega just stood there, frozen. The clinking of bottles, the buzzing ceiling fan, the faint sound of Afrobeats playing on the small speaker, it all became background noise. His throat went dry. Jessica. His voice came out rough, low, but it cut through the noise of the bar. Jessica's head snapped up. Her smile vanished. She jerked away from Osahon like she touched fire. Tega. The way she said his name made his chest ache. He took a step closer, his tall wiry frame tense, fist already curling. His eyes burned into hers, searching for denial, for explanation, but all he saw was guilt. No wetin be this. His voice cracked, anger and pain fighting in his chest. Jessica, no wetin you dey do. Jessica scrambled to her feet, wrapper rustling, hands trembling. Tega, please, it's not what you think. Osahon leaned back in his chair, unbothered, lips curling into a smug grin. Young man, calm down. She no tell you she dey tired of all this your Keke hustling. That was it. Tega lunged forward, his hand shooting out like he might grab the man's collar, but Jessica quickly stepped in front of him, pressing her palms against his chest. Tears filled her eyes instantly. Tega, I beg, she cried, her voice cracking. Please, I'm sorry. I no mean. I swear, her knees gave way, and she dropped down, clutching his arm desperately. Her sobs echoed in the room, raw and heavy. Tega looked down at her, his heart splitting in two. This was the woman he had loved with everything, the one he dreamed of marrying, the one he thought understood his struggle. But right now, in this dim bar with Osahan's smirk burning in his mind, all he saw was betrayal. Jessica, his voice broke. He shook his head slowly, swallowing the lump in his throat. After everything, Nomi, you do like this. Her tears fell harder. She clutched at his trousers like a child, her words stumbling out between sobs. I know no wetting come over me. I was confused, I swear. Tega, I beg, no leave me. I beg you. But he stepped back, pulling his arm out of her grip. His face was hard now, his jaw clenched tight. The heat of his anger had cooled into something colder, sharper. You don't kill something wey no go fit rise again, he said quietly, his voice heavy like stone. No, my heart you scatter tonight. He didn't wait for her reply. Didn't look back at Osahan. He just turned, pushed open the door, and walked into the night. Jessica's wailing followed him, spilling out of the bar and into the street, but he didn't stop. Not once. That night, something inside him broke, and something else hardened. That night after Tega walked away, Jessica barely slept. Her pillow was wet with tears, her chest heavy with regret. By morning, her eyes were swollen, but her hand still reached for her phone. She dialed his number once. It rang, but he didn't pick. She tried again. And again. Tega, please, I beg pick up, she whispered into the receiver, her voice trembling. But the line cut each time. For 3 days, she kept calling. At first, it rang out. Later, his phone began going straight to voicemail. She sent messages too, long ones, short ones, desperate ones. I'm sorry. Please, forgive me. I go explain everything if you just pick. But Tega never replied. Each silence was louder than words. By the end of the week, she knew. She had lost him. Not just for now, but for good. 5 years later, Jessica was married and living in Asaba. She ran a small shop by the roadside, selling fabrics, while her husband traded in spare parts. Life was steady, not without struggles, but better than the days of soaking Gary in Warri. One hot afternoon, she sat outside the shop, fanning herself as her little boy played nearby. A newspaper vendor passed, shouting headlines. Out of habit, she bought a copy. The first page nearly stopped her heart. There was Tega, clean suit, confident smile, standing beside a row of delivery trucks. The caption read, "Former Keke rider now expands logistics company into Lagos." Jessica's hands shook as she held the paper. Memories flooded back, the squeaky fan, the Gary mornings, the whispered promises in their tiny room. She smiled faintly, though her chest ached. Her husband's voice called from inside the shop, asking about customers. Jessica quickly folded the newspaper and tucked it under the bench. That night, when the house grew quiet, she brought it out again, staring at Tega's face under the lantern light. He had become everything he once dreamed of. And though her own life was settled, Jessica knew one truth she could never change: she had not been patient enough. The end.
This is Progressive Folktale. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this very captivating story. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and turn on the bell icon so as to be notified whenever we upload a new video. Join our membership so you will always be the first to get notified whenever we make any uploads. And we've uploaded more love stories specially created for our membership subscribers only. Check the description box to join now so you don't miss out. Furthermore, please support us by using the super thanks icon in between remix and download icon down below. Lastly, rate this story on a scale of 1 to 10. And don't forget to tell me where you're watching this video from. I am going to see you in another video. Bye bye.